You walk in the door after a long day and you hear it. Drip, drip, drip. You follow the sound and your heart just sinks. There's a giant water stain spreading across your ceiling. Or maybe there's already an inch of water all over the kitchen floor. It's that moment of pure panic, a complete homeowner's nightmare. And right there, in the middle of all that chaos, you've got to make a really expensive decision and you have to make it fast.
So here's our game plan. We're going to take you from that initial moment of panic to a place where you feel in control. We'll start with those homeowner nightmares, then we'll pull back the curtain on why this industry can feel like the Wild West. After that, we're going to get into the official rulebook that brings some sanity to it all. We'll see what a by-the-book job actually looks like, and most importantly, we're going to arm you with a checklist so you can protect yourself.
And believe me, the stakes are incredibly high. This quote from a Reddit forum says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that fear homeowners have. It's not just about the water damage itself. It's about getting trapped in a process where you feel totally vulnerable to these massive, out-of-the-blue costs.
And look, this stuff isn't just made up. These are the real-deal complaints from people who've lived through this. One person on Reddit talked about getting a verbal quote for $2,000 or $3,000, only to watch that bill just inflate with not a single update along the way. Can you imagine? Another was actually pressured into signing a liability waiver just to get the company to remove their equipment from the house. You see the pattern here. Bad communication, nothing in writing, and then a shocking bill at the end. It just leaves you feeling completely powerless.
Right, so the big question is, why? Why does this seem to happen all the time? It would be easy to just point fingers at a few bad apples, but the problem, well, it runs a little deeper than that. Let's dig into the real root of the issue.
And this is the real heart of the problem. You know, as folks on Reddit pointed out, in most states, there's no government agency that licenses water damage companies. Take Texas, for example. The state licenses for mold removal, sure, but not for the water mitigation that comes first. This huge lack of official oversight creates a total Wild West. Anybody can go buy a couple of fans, print up some business cards, and suddenly call themselves a restoration pro.
But there is a way to find some order in all this chaos. Because while the government might not be regulating things, the industry itself actually does. And that brings us to something called the IICRC.
The IICRC, that stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification, is the group that creates the official rulebook for the industry, and it's recognized all over the world. Their most important document is the S500 standard, which sets the standard of care. Honestly, just think of it as the official playbook for the pros. Following this playbook is what separates a true competent professional from someone who's just making it up as they go.
Now, a super critical part of that playbook is knowing exactly what kind of water you're up against, because it's not all the same. Category 1 is clean water, like from a broken pipe. But Category 3, which was the situation in the pro report we're about to look at, is seriously contaminated. We're talking sewage or flood water. And why does this matter so much? Because you can't just start blowing fans on Category 3 water. That's a huge health risk. It needs special safety protocols and cleanup first before any drying can even begin.
The whole professional process is built right on top of these 5 core principles. And they just make sense, right? First, make sure everyone is safe. Then, document and inspect everything. Stop the damage from spreading. Then, you clean and dry. And only at the very end do you do the final repairs. See? It's not random. It's a methodical, documented system.
Okay, so what does playing by this rulebook actually look like in a real home? Let's get out of the theory and jump into a real-world example. We're going to look at a super detailed 93-page report from a job done by the pros at WTR Restoration.
And wow, the difference is it's night and day. On the left, you've got the nightmare scenario from those online reports, verbal promises, zero paper trail, and giant surprise bills. But on the right, that's the professional standard. We're talking daily scientific monitoring, detailed logs for every single piece of equipment, and a massive final report that shows every step, justifying every penny on the invoice. That level of detail is gold, both for you and for your insurance company.
You see, real professionals don't guess, they measure. This WTR report kicks off by setting a scientific baseline. They used moisture meters and found the wood framing in the bathroom was at 40% moisture. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. It's a hard data point that tells you exactly how bad the problem is.
And if you have a scientific starting line, you've got to have a scientific finish line. That's the drying goal. Based on industry science for that exact type of wood, the goal was to get it all the way down to 9% moisture. This is so important. It means the job is done when the science says it's done, not just when a contractor feels like packing up. So how do you get from a soggy 40% down to a dry 9%? Well, this is why a pro job can look so intense. In this home, it took 41 high-velocity air movers, 5 massive industrial dehumidifiers, and 2 air scrubbers to keep the air quality safe. The IICRC standards actually have formulas that tell them exactly how much gear they need for the size of the room. Again, it's all science, not guesswork.
And this right here, this is where you see the real value. This table is a simplified version from the report, but it shows you what daily monitoring looks like. Every single day, a technician is there, taking new readings and logging the progress. This completely eliminates that whole zero updates complaint, right? With data like this, you have total transparency. You can literally watch your house get dry, and this is exactly what an insurance adjuster needs to see to approve your claim without a bunch of hassle.
Okay, we've seen the nightmare scenario, and we've seen the professional standard. So now, let's take all that knowledge and turn it into power for you. How do you make sure you hire the pro and avoid the problem? It really all comes down to asking a few key questions right from the start.
This is it. Question number 1. It should be the very first thing you ask. If they say yes, it's the single best sign that you're talking to a company that's actually committed to the professional standard of care. If they hesitate or don't know what the IICRC is, that is a huge red flag.
Next up, you need to know that you're going to get proof of the work they do. A professional company will be excited to tell you about their documentation. They should be talking about daily moisture readings and a big final report, just like the one we looked at. Asking this question immediately tells them you're an informed customer who expects transparency.
And finally, never ever move forward with just a verbal estimate. This question tackles the #1 complaint we saw head-on. Demand a written contract that spells out exactly what they're going to do. It protects you, and frankly, it protects them too. It just makes sure everybody is on the exact same page before a single fan gets turned on.
You know, dealing with a water emergency is unbelievably stressful. The absolute best time to think about all this is before it happens. So let's wrap everything up with the simple, powerful checklist you can keep handy.
Here it is, just 5 simple things that cover everything we've talked about. Number 1, verify that IICRC certification. 2, demand it in writing. 3, insist on seeing that daily documentation. 4, ask them what the scientific drying goal is. And 5, confirm you'll get a detailed final report when it's all done. If you can tick these 5 boxes, you are putting yourself in the absolute best position to get through a water damage event without all the extra drama.
And in the end, that's what it all comes down to, isn't it? A disaster in your home is so much more than just a mess. It's an invasion of your personal space, of your life. The company you hire to fix it isn't just a contractor. They're your partner in putting things back together. Choosing a professional who uses data, transparency, and a clear standard of care isn't just a smart move. It's essential peace of mind, right when you need it the most.